Protection insurance was missold if you didn't want it, ask for it, or need it.
I was missold pipe and protection insurance and I got a claim worth 3,000 credits.
At Cowell & McGrath, we are ready to pursue claims for pilots who were sold PPI, even though they didn't have an escape pod.
When my partner's ship was destroyed, the insurance became invalid. I settled out of court for enough credits to restart my narcotics and weapons shipping business.
Millions have been missold pipe and protection insurance they can never claim, simply because they don't have an escape pod. Why should you pay for not reading the small print?
My husband was missold PPI. As a result of our claim, we now own Jupiter.
Cowell & McGrath, turning your carelessness into profitable lawsuits.
Hi, I'm David Lowe, aka Uncle Art. Back in 1993, I wrote and coded the two main themes to Frontier Elite 2. I had no idea at the time how popular those tracks would become to fans of the game. So in 2016, my daughter Holly and I ran a Kickstarter to fund a re-recording of the tracks. It was a great success and we went to Abbey Road Studio 2, where the Chamber Orchestra of London performed and recorded the themes. It's all on film. Look on Amazon Movies for Uncle Art. This next track is the main theme to Frontier, recorded that day and featured on the album A Temporal Shift. For more of my video game music recreations, please visit uncleartretrogaming.com and stay tuned for more great music here on Lave Radio.
transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
Galnet News Update, 9th of March 3309.
Two days after the Alliance condemned the Kumu crew's attempt to take over the California Nebula, self-styled Pirate King Archon Delane has hit back, not at Prime Minister Edmund Mann, but at the sinister corporation that's been a backer of both Delane and the Alliance. A sinister corporation that some have accused of trying to manipulate events in the galaxy, a corporation that tried to bully engineer Ramtar into handing over the rights to his Guardian hybrid technology. Delane, who will be 60 this year, accused corn farmer Prime Minister Mann, who at 122 is more than twice the age of the pirate leader, of being a doddery old man of infirm mind who cannot see the obvious threat looming over the Alliance. Delane implied very strongly what many had long suspected, that it was the Sirius Corporation under enigmatic CEO Lee Yong-ri who funded the Kumu crew expansion into the California Nebula, into Sothis, into the Coalsack Nebula, and into Colonia. It was the Alliance's closest ally and defence partner, the Sirius Corporation, that created the jumping-off point for the Kumu crew to attempt its takeover of Alliance bases in the Nebula. Sirius has helped Archon Delane in other ways too. It's strongly rumoured that Onion Head Gamma production and distribution was masterminded by Sirius. It was Lee who invited Archon Delane to the Galactic Summit in March 3307 in an attempt to establish the pirates' credentials as a big league player. The corporation, which Mann trusts so much, has no compunction in dealing with pirates, and now Delane wants the Prime Minister to realise his folly. For Sirius has backed the Alliance too, or at least propped it up. It helped the Alliance expand into 2 new systems when the Prime Minister's fundraiser was only able to pay for a single new starport, and it did this in return for its own expansion into these starports. It was the Sirius Corporation that helped the Alliance expand into the Coalsack Nebula, in exchange for a presence there and for an as-yet unexplained and unfulfilled opportunity to terraform the ammonia worlds in that region. It was the Sirius Corporation that now, on paper at least, protects the Alliance from Thargoid attack in exchange for an undisclosed payment and for the opportunity to station its military might in key systems across Alliance territory. The Sirius Corporation has infiltrated the Alliance, and now, for some reason, possibly spite and the opportunity to gloat, Archon Delane wants the Prime Minister to at long last realise that he's been duped. The Sirius Corporation has worked its way into every part of Alliance society, and now sees Old Man Mahon as a vassal to its corporate might.
In other news, the Aegis and Universal Cartographics initiative to discover new ammonia worlds before the Thargoids do is entering its second and final week, with an expected outcome that the reward will be that for the following 2 weeks all exploration data will earn 3 times its normal value. It has been revealed that ship kits make ships far more susceptible to Thargoid caustic damage, suggesting that the Thargoids prefer the cleaner, classic lines of the unmodified ships. Spiky raider kits may look good to the human eye, but to a Thargoid's 8 eyes it looks an unsightly mess. Finally, Commander Burr has published a picture, following a lead provided by Commander Radiumio, that appears to show a silhouette in the middle of one of the Thargoid maelstroms. The silhouette appears to resemble a very, very, very large Thargoid interceptor. Think perhaps of what a Thargoid capital ship might look like. That's just what this silhouette looks like. So that's nothing to be alarmed about at all.
out there, there's a ship just for you. A ship that can carry you to the furthest stars, jumping long distances whilst offering an unobstructed view of the galaxy. A ship that can also pack a decent punch if the pirates come knocking. A ship that feels safe. A ship that feels like home. The Asp Explorer. A great ship at a great price in a competitive galaxy. Fly far. Fly safe. Fly in front of things.
Hey Commanders, I'm Nicholas Felix on Lave Radio. My next track is called The Last Stand. Epic, choir, brass strings, everything you want, even electric guitars and drums. If you like it, please visit www.nicholasfelix.com and listen more on Lave Radio.
Is your life like this? It could be like this.
Astrogator Tours. Put some excitement back in your life. Book an adventure in the Lave Business Directory. Now.
Hi, I'm David Lowe, aka Uncle Art. Back in 1993, I wrote and coded the two main themes to Frontier Elite 2. I had no idea at the time how popular those tracks would become to fans of the game. So in 2016, my daughter Holly and I ran a Kickstarter to fund a re-recording of the tracks. It was a great success, and we went to Abbey Road Studio 2, where a 48-piece orchestra performed and recorded the themes. It's all on film. Have a look on Amazon Movies for Uncle Art. This next track is the second theme to Frontier recorded that day and featured on the album A Temporal Shift. For more of my video game music recreations, please visit uncleartretrogaming.com and stay tuned for more great music here on Lave Radio.
From the creators of luggage limpets and passenger lounge suitcase shuttles comes the latest revolution in passenger transportation, the passenger cannon. For centuries, circus performers have perfected the technique of being fired from a cannon. Paired with our new memory gel passenger pod impact absorption technology, you too can speed up disembarkation times from your liner by up to 250%. No longer be limited by pad sizes and excessive docking fees with the passenger cannon. But how does it all work? First, all passengers will be issued with a passenger pod inflation suit during transit. On approach to your passenger's destination, simply fill the inflation suit with our patented impact-absorbing memory gel. Then, once in a stable position in proximity to the destination, effortlessly slide them into the disembarkation chamber ready for launch. The passenger cannon is now available in both gimbaled and turreted varieties to make aiming elementary. Make your liner one of the top 1% in the galaxy. Buy a passenger cannon today. Warning: passenger cannon must not be operated on high-gravity planets or near geysers.
Hi fellow commanders, my name is Chloe and next up you're listening to my track Far Away. If you'd like to listen to more of my work, please visit www.soundcloud.com/jollyhappymusic. Fly safe and enjoy the show here on Lave Radio.
The next track is Shaman Way by Autism Child and Shaman Off. You can find more work by Autism Child on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/autism_child.
Lave Radio is the best show on this side of Dizzo. Stay tuned in, we've got more coming up.
Boy, space, it's cold in here. That commander has a cheek sitting up in his cosy and warm cockpit while we haul radioactives around his cargo bay.
Oh, is it cold? I hadn't noticed.
Oh, that's right. Why, you're not even shivering.
Maybe it's because I picked up this North Coast cargo bay sweater. It keeps me warm and stylish.
Say, that is a nice jumper.
It's made from the finest Verrex wool and handcrafted by novitiates in the underground monasteries of Van Manen Star.
Wow. Where can I get one?
New North Coast cargo bay sweaters. Be the envy of your friends. Wow every lady from here to the Empire. Be warm and toasty even on the 10th planet of a dying star. Now on sale at Spark and Mensa.
Better now?
Better? Why, I feel so warm I'll probably never catch man flu again.
Spark and Mensa. 'Cause nothing says sexy like a neck-high
Hi,
jumper.
I'm David Lowe, aka Uncle Art. Back in 1993, I wrote and coded the two main themes to Frontier Elite 2. I had no idea at the time how popular those tracks would become to fans of the game. So in 2016, my daughter Holly and I ran a Kickstarter to fund a re-recording of the tracks. It was a great success and we went to Abbey Road Studio 2, where the Chamber Orchestra of London performed and recorded the themes. It's all on film. Look on Amazon Movies for Uncle Art. This next track is the main theme to Frontier recorded that day and featured on the album A Temporal Shift. For more of my video game music recreations, please visit uncleartretrogaming.com and stay tuned for more great music here on Lave Radio.
Radio. Fly safe and enjoy the show. Lave Radio.
Hello and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite
And the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous.
and the fantastic
Community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from the Orange Sidewinder and hosted by a vending machine technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads. A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Dizzo.
The name of the place.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 433 of Lave Radio, the show about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Psychit, and joining me in the Orange Sidewinder bar for this episode are... we have our apprentice stunt driver. Is it really apprentice? Should we call you just our stunt driver? Apprentice seems a little bit...
Don't know. When do I get to graduate? What's my test? Do I have to do some sort of initiation ceremony?
Let me think about it for a bit, Alec, and I'm
All right.
sure I'll come back to you.
You've got to be able to get me to drive up a building.
Holy crap. 3 years later and we'll still be doing it.
Hello all. I say, what's the difference between a buffalo and a caustic sink?
I don't know. What's the difference between a... Oh, God.
You
Between
can't
a
wash your
buffalo
hands in a buffalo.
Jeez.
Amazing. Wild. Okay, we also have our... you've heard him. You've heard our head of health and safety, Ben Mosswood, otherwise known as Hitler Vice.
I think I've managed to break Psychit already.
What's going on? Oh man, this does not bode well for the rest of the show. It was, let's face it, it was shaky when we started. We also we don't have Colin today, hence the fact that you're hearing my dulcet tones in the host seat. But we do have standing in. You hear her on Galnet News Digest, and you know her for her beautiful, beautiful, amazing, incredible artwork. I am not biased. I definitely don't have things in frames from her. It is Commander BEETLEJUDE, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. They went for the next tallest person they could think of after Colin, I'm sure.
100%, absolutely. I'm doing it for the short queens over here. We first and foremost, you can join us live. Ben, where are you at Lave Station? I'm assuming you're at Lave Station.
I am at Lave Station, but can I be a short queen?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
If I'm a radio daddy, you can be a short queen. It's not a problem. We are hanging out in open. Well, Ben is hanging out in open.
Yeah, I'm in open. I've got Commander Richie Richardson, I think his name is, doing barrel rolls in a cobra outside the window.
Fantastic.
I know, it's exciting.
You love to see it. You absolutely do. If you can't get in game, you can also join us on Twitch chat, which you can access through laveradio.com/live and clicking on live chat, or via twitch.tv/laveradio. What a week. What an absolute week. Let's find out how everybody has been. Starting with Alec.
I've been on holiday, which is why I wasn't here last week.
That is a very, very good point. I hope you had a lovely time.
I did. It was only 4 days. Went down to Devon to this fantastic hotel called the Manor House, which is it's dirt cheap. Well, it's cheap enough. It's cheap and cheerful. But you get 3 hot meals a day, and it is just full of stuff you can do, sports and crafting. So I did. What did I do? I did bowling. I did golf. I swam every day. I decorated and glazed a sugar bowl. I did copper foiling on a glass mosaic heart. I did Zumba. I won at the bingo. I got loose screws to recommend malt whiskies in the evening, and I ate loads. So that was good. It was a good break. And in game, I have been continuing my personal voyage of discovery to the heart of the Maelstrom, which you can read all about on the forums. But after 5 days, I finally got myself my caustic heat sinks. Yay!
Fantastic.
It's good fun. It's good stuff, actually. I really like it.
I think I will agree with you. I think it's quite fun getting them and the struggle of getting them when you don't have them. And then when you finally do get them and you're like, oh my God, this is so easy now.
Yeah, it's quite nice. I mean, I get pretty much everybody has done the thing about what's the point of grinding for stuff that helps you grind for the stuff kind of thing. But actually, it was quite a good adventure getting the thing and quite a challenge getting it. And now I've got it. It gives you time to, because when you're in the Maelstrom without it, you're sort of quite rushed and you keep seeing interesting things and thinking, oh, I wish I could spend more time and go and take screenshots of that. And so the payoff, for now at least, I'm sure there's going to be a much better payoff, is that you can spend more time in there and you can kind of, take screenshots and videos and go and explore and not have to go running for cover every 2 minutes because your ship's dissolving.
Absolutely. And what will be the next thing that we unlock with the next level that we can go to now? Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Ben, how's your week been?
Yeah, so whilst Alec was going down to Devon, I was going up to Aberdeen to see my nan with my brother. I drove up. My brother drove up from Bournemouth to Aberdeen via Birmingham, which is a good 12-hour drive for us. And then we had a lovely couple of days in Aberdeen and saw my nan, which was absolutely lovely. Saw her, saw various things and just generally a lovely time. And we got to stay in a lovely Premier Inn. But if you're in Aberdeen and you fancy some Thai food, I can very strongly recommend a place called. It's in the centre, fairly near the train station. I think it's called Sian Cottage or something like that. I'm just gonna check it out. But yeah, if you're in Aberdeen and you fancy some Thai food, it is absolutely gorgeous. I've not signed into it at the moment, and I'm not going to bother looking up for you lot unless anyone actually wants to know. But yeah, absolutely, it was so fresh. It was so tasty. I had absolutely beautiful soup, and then really, it's just a fairly. It was a lovely, but just a Thai green curry, and it was just so fresh and so tasty and so lovely. I'm drooling about it again just thinking about it. So good. So if you like Thai food, just go to Aberdeen.
Awesome. I'll make a note of that and then throw it away.
Yeah.
Because I don't think my husband will let me anywhere near Aberdeen. I'm not going to lie.
Aberdeen's a lovely place to go. I was right. It is Siam Cottage, near St. Peter's Catholic Church.
Fantastic. Well, I am glad that you had such lovely times on the opposite ends of the country. Hi, Jude. Hello. How are you doing? What have you been up to recently? Give us the down low. How's it going, mate?
Not a lot, really. I've been I was doing some drawings. I've done some drawings, which is good, and a general life stuff. But in Elite, I've been gutting all my materials, just everything in all my pockets and down the back of the sofa to try and get the materials I need to go and get the various things like the meta alloy hull reinforcements and the caustic sinks and all of that. Just basically everything I had, I just threw it at the material traders. Just everything, and the engineers, and just everything that I could. I've got nothing now. Nothing.
Same here. Same here.
It's just Anyway, but I've got my little shard launchers and my caustic whatnot launchers now though, so I'm all right. I'm sorted now.
For now.
For now, until they up the game again and make it yet more complex.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Alec?
Yeah, I just wanted to chip in because you just reminded me of that whole materials thing. And yeah, so when I started this, I was the same. I didn't have even the corrosion-resistant cargo racks beyond the ones that only carry 2 tons. Yeah, and my materials were woefully low. So for the first time ever, I think, I did a proper Dav's Hope grind.
Oh no!
Yeah, I don't really like it. I don't like that stuff. But I thought I just need to get this stuff. So, and it's quite fun. You know, I like racing the SRV anyway. So I was literally just doing laps, getting faster and faster. And I had this idea of videoing every lap, and then making I think I did post it actually. I sort of sped up video of my laps of Dav's Hope. And I was horrified to discover at the end of the session I had 70 videos. So I'd done 70 laps of Dad's Hope.
Amazing.
It's quite bad, isn't it?
That's a lot of laps when you could have just been doing Rubigo runs and getting the top ones and trading down.
Oh, don't tell me there's better ways of doing it now.
There's definitely a lot better ways of doing it. But I mean, you have fun in an SRV, so who am I to? Who are we to judge? Just do what you know, do what you love. It's all good.
Pretty good.
Say that again, Jude. I didn't catch that.
Rescue missions, taking humans in boxes to the rescue ships.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taking the contents of the cadaver scoop to Carrick Tor.
Oh nom. Etienne Dawn, thanks you for your sacrifice.
They give you loads of materials. They're really good for materials.
Really do. It's really good, and it's you can get a lot of grade 5s from it as well, which is cracking. But it's not raws. It's engineered.
Oh yeah.
Manufactured and what is it? Modified embedded firmware, which is the data that you get. Yeah, the math is the data that you can get from it. But it's all tradable. It's all good. Whichever way you get your materials, if it results in the desired outcome at the end, who are we to judge? What have I been up to this week? A lot of Elite, a lot of anti-Xeno stuff because it's fun. I played with the Corvette being a science ship, decided I didn't like the Corvette as a science ship because it's not fast enough. I'm not going to make another I'm not going to take anything off that Corvette because it might do its job in a little while. So instead I have plans when she's going to get made later this week. I have plans for Dr. Beverly Cutter. See what I did there? Please appreciate me. Please appreciate that. I need you all to appreciate that for me. But I'm so sorry. I've got plans for Dr. Beverly Cutter, who is going to go out and do some science because the cutter is quicker and can withstand more, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm pretty good on materials at the moment because I'm planning on building that, a Corvette and a Shard Anaconda, and I think I'm nearly there for all of it.
Will you be naming your SLV, your SLF Jack?
It might be Wesley. If I have
Shut up, Wesley.
Yeah, exactly. It might end up being.
No, I think I'd make the SLV Wesley maybe.
Mate, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
We'll have to. We'll workshop it if the time arises that I need either of those two things. Other than that, out of game, my life has been mostly dominated by Crufts and the Oscars this week. The Oscars was legitimately one of my favorite Oscars that I've ever watched. No controversy, just, well, a little tiny bit of controversy in one of the awards, but nothing like super major or anything like that. And like really good films won. So, well, I mean, they were all really good films, but it was a good show. And Brendan Fraser, very happy, and Crufts was incredible because dogs are amazing. But that's about it. I feel that we're at the point where we're going to move over onto the development news or lack thereof from this week. I say lack thereof. We did have on the 9th of March, we had Frameshift Live, which was definitely something I think we're probably going to touch on a little bit more later on today. They had Commander, I'm so sorry if I butcher any of this, but we had Commander Meccan and Commander Grimscrub as the guests that came on from the AXI, and there was also the normal shenanigans that happened. It was Sally and Arthur, if memory serves.
Wasn't there a thing? It wasn't supposed to be Arthur, or it wasn't supposed to be Sally. It was supposed to be Bruce.
I think it was supposed to be Sally and Bruce, and then last minute, because Arthur was a little bit flustered at the beginning.
Yeah. Bruce was meant to be there, couldn't due to real life. So Arthur stepped in.
Okay. Cool. I think we'll cover that a little bit more a little bit later, if that is okay with everyone. That it kind of fits into our main topic a little bit more. So we will cover that a little bit later on. We also had Paul Crowther with his Galnet news roundup, managing to find some more content out of a limited Galnet that's happening at the moment. We had that. We also, more importantly, on Monday had the Discovery Scanner come out. And the Discovery Scanner was more of the same, confirming Stellar Screenshots winners, all of the normal activity that you see on this. But there was a very, very important part, which said that along with the routine maintenance tick this Thursday, we will be applying balancing adjustments to values in relation to Thargoid war activity to better reflect recent player actions and feedback. Keep an eye on the news and bulletins here for details. As of recording, there's nothing new in the news and bulletins section, is there, unless it's suddenly gone live now?
No. What do we think these balances will be? I guess I assume it's stuff from the war feedback thread. Do you think? Or
that would make sense.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. I hear there was some speculation. I think what people really are hoping is like better material rewards, maybe, but I don't know. I haven't been involved in the Thargoid war the last 2 weeks, but I assume we're still doing quite badly, but that's probably according to plan. But is it too difficult? I don't really know.
So yes, with an asterisk, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the best way to describe it. There are sections that I get an impression that it's a stalemate. It's not like people don't have anything to do with regard to the Thargoid combat. It's there's still lots going on, so
right.
that still exists. It's we talked a little while ago about burnout, and I feel like the balancing might be addressing that to some extent.
Interesting. There was a thing. This was maybe 3 weeks ago about control. I think it was control systems, and I know what it was. It was just after Frontier did the patch that said we should now see the progress bars moving a lot better, and they'd made some tweaks to the information in the galaxy map and stuff. And then people came out saying that they thought control systems were broken because the progress bars weren't moving at all. And then I think somebody else said they were moving, but just very slowly. Has that changed, or are control systems really tough to make any progress on? Does anyone know?
I absolutely
Pass.
don't.
Okay.
Whether that's something. I think at the moment control systems are still really they're always going to be tricky, because effectively at that point the Thargos have won, so we're restarting from our side again to try and take it back. So yeah, I feel like it's it's just maybe a little bit stagnant. I don't want to say stagnant because it's only been like a few months and I still find it really fun, but maybe there's kind of like poking it and saying do something. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, do something new, do a different sort of.
You don't want to be grinding the same thing, whether it's going around Dav's Hope 70 times or whether it's rescuing 70 passengers for the 100th time.
Yeah.
You want a bit of variety in your game?
I don't know that balancing maybe it can achieve that.
Also, I mean, let's face it, we're not even standing still. We are losing systems by the bucket load.
I feel
and
like
that feels
plan,
like
right?
it's meant to be. That's according to plan, I think.
According to plot.
Yeah, sorry, not plan.
Everything
plot.
is working as intended.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the Thargoid War, Jude?
I'm not terribly good at it. I'm scared of the swarm, so I very much stayed on planets and the lowest gravity planets I can find. So I
1000% agree. Yeah.
Base plant them quite as often.
But no, I mean, demonstrated by Arthur on.
I know. I'd have done it more times. He only did it. Did he do it twice? I don't. He didn't do it much.
No, he didn't do it much.
I know. It's what you do.
Still funny though.
Yeah. It made me laugh at it. This is a high gravity planet. This is 0.2. And yeah, well, that's the AX people. I suppose they picked the planet.
I should imagine so. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I don't know. I basically I look on the DCOH watch thing, and if there's a place that's relatively near that's relevant, I might do a bit, but I'm not in any way competent or helpful. But I do have fun, and it's great, and it makes loads of money, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it does.
Which is good.
You see, the thing is, I haven't looked at the DCOH site for a hot minute. And I'm pretty sure the last time I looked at it, Thargos were controlling like 500 odd systems. And I've just gone on it now, and Thargos are now controlling 996 systems. So it's definitely not going in our favour.
Wow. 4 more, and then they can celebrate the big 1K.
Oh God. God, that'll be Thursday. That'll be Thursday easy. Because we're taking back, on average, I think we're salvaging like 10 systems at a time. Every Thursday we get 10, but then the Thargoids take over a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe that balancing that they're talking about possibly doing on Thursday is just to bring in more maelstroms.
You know what? You know what? If they're gonna blanket reset the bubble, I'd rather they do it with maelstroms than a big friendly button. This is entirely a very, very huge bit of speculation. I'd love them to blanket reset the bubble and then just shuffle out systems to everyone again.
Oh, as we said the other week when Arf was on, let it burn. I'm so down for that.
If they burn the bubble, they can burn the economy as well, and then that's a great opportunity to.
That's a great idea.
Out
actually,
all the credit creep that we've had.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity to do a key feature overhaul as well. Just saying.
You know what they say: nuke it from orbit.
Yeah, it's cool. I'd love to see more. I'd love to see more maelstroms coming on, and as I'm sure Beetlejude will attest to, because she's probably spoken about it on a Galnet News Digest article, they have talked about the possibility of more maelstroms in a purely speculative way on Galnet.
You say they, like I know what I'm talking about. And
Okay.
remember it for any seconds after I said it. No, yeah, there was some, yeah.
There's been a couple, haven't there? There's been a couple of little just like drip feeding, like with all of this. Obviously we're about to move on to it, but like with all of this, all of the politics bits sort of like coming in, like no superpower is happy right now. So there's a lot of like, oh, could it be this? Could it be that? Are we going to get more maelstroms? Maybe that's the thing that we're missing. Maybe that's the thing that Arthur says that we're missing, because anybody still looking for a maelstrom? I'm sure someone in canon probably is still looking for another maelstrom or something on its way.
You mean like Stargoids, like looking back up the skies to see if there's... Yeah, it's a good point, actually.
Seeing if there's something... Yeah, look, I mean, if they're not, or if they are, please, somebody like let us know. Please, that'd be great. That'd be absolutely wonderful. You can let us know via all different types of mediums and all of our social media. Ben will read them eventually. I gave you a job there, Ben. Did you appreciate it? Cool, good talk. Alec, you had something to say on the key features.
Oh, yeah, just because you mentioned it. It's just because this started to creep into my thoughts this week. You know, I'd sort of clung stupidly fervently to the roadmap that they their little back of the fag packet roadmap from way back. And I think a lot of us are still thinking, yeah, and then the next thing is this key feature overhaul. But Frontier haven't mentioned it at Dicky Bird. I mean, they have not used those 3 words in from as long as I can remember. Does anyone think there's a possibility that there just isn't going to be a key feature overhaul? Did Ben just say that? Was I not listening? Sorry, Ben just wrote something in chat that made me think I'm repeating what he's already said.
Never mind, Alec. It's not that. It's another thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I may or may not have said that. I'm not sure.
I don't think you did.
Matt Winston in chat says there won't be a key feature overhaul. Yeah,
I think they will.
If they've said they will, I can't see them going back on it.
But they said it a long time ago. An awfully long time ago. I don't know. I'm just suspicious.
I'm with you with that. I don't believe in features until I see it. But you know, Frontier say something, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt as well.
It's it almost seems slightly out of place now. We're so into this Thargoid war. It so seems like the right thing for update 15 to be is to start peeling back another layer in the maelstroms. Maybe it just doesn't seem the right moment to do a key feature overhaul, unless it's
what if that key feature overhaul is, and here come bugs to shoot at. You know, we're overhauling on-foot combat.
I mean, it's an odd way to word it. Now, I you know how very well known I am for both malapropisms and not being grammatically accurate at the best of times, but I feel like calling that a key feature overhaul would be interesting, unless there's something else that's changed. Let's say maybe hypothetically, let's say one of the lead designers who was working on that key overhaul has now moved to a different project and now they're looking at other things. Let's say hypothetically that might have happened, you know. There's lots of mitigating factors that could drop that back a couple of months or maybe even a year. You know what Frontier are like.
And do you know what? Can I just say, if anyone from Frontier is listening on the very remote off chance, because now we've lost Darren, of course, definitely nobody from Frontier listens anymore. But if it has kind of been bumped, just come out and tell us. Don't just not say it. just tell us. Just say. We're big.
Yeah, I agree with you there. We're grown up, aren't we?
Don't just not say it and hope it goes away, because it won't. And then you'll release update 15 and the community will be massively pissed off that it's not a key feature overhaul. Anyway, that's my thought.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll see. Well, only time will tell, I guess. Only time will tell.
Indeed.
Only time will tell. And Mac Winston is incredibly correct by saying there's always going to be a portion of the community that's going to be pissed off anyway. So, you know what? Caution to the wind. Let's just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks and how many people we can piss off at a time. Okay. Let's move on then to the in-game events and find out what politically in Elite Dangerous has happened this week, because that's the big kick at the moment is political stuff. We've only had 2 pieces, and also no CG because the exploration CG was a 2-week long mad lad. I don't know why I said mad lad. I instantly regretted it as soon as it came out of my mouth. On the 9th of March, Archon, is that right? Archon Delane? Yeah, I just pronounced it.
I think it's pronounced.
Weird. Delane countered Mahon's rebuke. Basically when, sit down, old man. I'm pretty sure he referred to him as Mahon as an old man. Double checking.
Maybe.
And when, yeah, wake up, old man.
Yeah, and Delane's 60.
Wild. So it was handbags at dawn between Delane and Mahon. It was about Mahon being like, "Oh, hello, I'm still here. Remember me? We're gonna pretend that we're angry," and just basically said, "Listen, back up." Pretty much. Does that sound right, Jude? Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, back up. Yeah, that sounds
back up, love.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
Sweet. And then today we had a piece which was Federal Eyes on the Congress debate. So this is back to the Hudson contravention vote, which was Hudson going, "Please let me be president for another term. I want to put this in motion so I can be president again for a 3rd term." And there are folks that support it, mostly Hudson's cabinet, and then opponents going, "Nope, that be a bit dictatorial," which, you know, it is. So that's all coming up pretty soon, I think. When's the vote? The official vote on the Hudson contravention motion is expected to take place next week. Those of you who are interested in that, do we think that he's going to win? Do we think he's going to win his 3rd term?
Well, Matt Winson makes a good point in chat, which is that he has too much plot armor. They would have to redo power play if Hudson can't have another term, and they won't do that. I don't know. Equally, if they did want to drop a portrait of D2 into the power play map and get somebody out, no, that's wild speculation.
As the Chris Mark 4 has just suggested, that the key feature overhaul is literally just removing Hudson.
That could work too. And the Chris Mark 4 has actually just locked me in a building, and I've got no energy. I don't know if he did it deliberately or not. Shit, I can't leave.
How's he managed to do that?
He stole the bloody the battery out of the building. I'm on like 5% energy and dropping.
Leave him, Chris. Just leave him. They no.
I can't escape. Oh shit!
It's incredible.
That's quite funny. That's even better than when I locked her in my SRV.
Open the bloody door, Chris!
Do you not have any power cells with you at all, Ben?
I might actually, yeah.
Are we crisis averting?
We are actually, yes.
Okay.
Chris has opened the door as well.
Wild. Amazing.
Ben Gowan's opened the door. Thank you very much, Ben. Fuck you, Chris. That was just too funny as well. Anyway, sorry for derailing you.
That's quite all right. I think there's going to be. I don't think he's going to get an extension. I don't think there's going to be an extension, and I think there will also have been. There's been a couple of people in chat. Siberius, and I did see another one. Happy Moon Monkey, suggesting that maybe Power Play is a key feature. I can't even finish that sentence.
Oh God, Frequency have been banging on about that for weeks.
Can you imagine?
So determined that that's what's
I
going to
think
be.
Colin would love it.
I think a lot of people would love it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would be like, I mean, they're going to have to be very careful. People will love it, and then if that is the case, people would love it and then subsequently hate it again. But if they did something like that, if they had been looking at Power Play for any length of time and were like, okay, let's do something new with it, that would be bonkers. But I don't see that. I don't see that being the case. I'd be very surprised if that were the case. The Alec brought up an interesting point.
Yeah, I forget when it was today or yesterday, but I saw a forum thread, and somebody was suggesting, we've got this exploration CG, and it was specifically targeted at ammonia worlds. And the forum thread was along the lines of, how about a CG for exobiology, where you have to scan certain types of plants, scan all the bacteria and bring me back lots of data about bacteria for reasons. And it made me think that's interesting, actually, because what that would be, which we haven't done yet, which Frontier haven't done yet, is an Odyssey-only CG. And in the same way, I think it was Psychic last week was sort of, very vocally saying that it's time for an Odyssey-only, bit to the Thargoid War.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably time for an Odyssey. It probably is time for an Odyssey-only CG. Maybe not as part of the main narrative, because you're sort of excluding non-Odyssey owners from taking part in the central narrative. But you could do a side thing. Couldn't you? I think it is about time. I think that'd be awesome, actually.
I say make it part of the main narrative.
Do you?
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're quite bold on that. I think you're bolder than me on that. I still have this slightly, what about the other people?
So, one of my main bugbears with Elite is, for the whole time that Horizons was paid for DLC, and then I think right up until Odyssey came out, and probably even still, all of the CGs were in Beyond content. So there wasn't even a CG that required you to land on a planetary base even. It was all just in base game content, not even Horizons, for all the time that CGs have been created. And in that instance, there's no incentivizing of Elite to push its DLC, and I appreciate that can be a bit of a tricky topic. Like, you shouldn't be pressurizing commanders to it or people to buy a DLC to experience part of the story. Yeah, you should.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a really good point, actually.
It makes business sense too. If they're developing all of this shit, why are they not using it? Do you know what I mean? It just feels like you develop this new stuff, but then you're still sitting in your Coriolis
to use it because you're excluding people.
Yeah,
maybe we're just too British. Maybe that's the problem. Frontier are just too British.
Yeah, you know what?
Stuff them, make them buy Odyssey.
It's not. And that is kind of the vibe that I wouldn't want to put across. Like, you know what? You haven't bought Odyssey. Well, that's your own fault for not buying Odyssey. We're putting the story in Odyssey now.
You know what? How much is it? How much is the Odyssey
expansion? What, 25 quid on a bad day?
Right.
It's not like it's cost of living crisis. Yes, I appreciate it. It's not a AAA games price. It's a DLC price. I'm very much of the opinion that now it is worth that money. And as Kremen is saying, they stopped with the console support so that Odyssey could move forwards. Why do we still have CGs that are based in Beyond content?
You're right. Let's do it. Odyssey only CG.
Yeah, I'm all for it. What about you, Jude?
Me? What?
Yeah, how do you feel about an Odyssey only CG?
I think they're pretty much. Yeah, it's about time, really, isn't it? I think I'd be all right with that. I mean, I didn't buy Horizons for ages because I was just not in a position to run it, and I didn't get resentful at all of the fancy ships that people got, and I am resentful about those ships that they got. But I, it's fine. I'd love to have a let's make pesto out of plants CG. That'd be good. Something different, bit alternative to, deliver these toasters to this station.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Ben?
Grow up here, Frontier. Basically, they should have grown up here when it was Horizons. They should definitely grow up here now. Why are we still doing the same CGs that we had back in 2013, 2014?
We're still doing 4.0 content.
Yeah.
When we should be, everyone on the live game, they're not even doing CGs don't even appear in the old games. So why are we not pushing even more Horizons content? Like deliver stuff to a planetary base. That's slightly different.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even deliver stuff to. Yeah, we're not even getting that. Oh, you just. I mean, I would like it to be, kill 10 people on a planet or something like that, and you get kills for doing. You get points for doing that, or doing stuff that actually go and get 10, or go and get a bunch of materials that you can only get from raiding planetary bases.
Or, as Epiphus is saying right now, like a combat CG in a system with Odyssey settlements, which also hasn't happened. Or if it has, there was maybe one settlement that you could go and fight at. It was so few and far between. I think they did it really early on, and then everything since has just been in space. Stuff.
Wouldn't it be funny if this was the Corvette paint job all over again, and on this Thursday?
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
I'm just gonna. I will just literally be like, okay, I'll give you all of the spoilers that you need. Heck it, why not? Just random guesswork.
And it happens.
I really love Chris Mark IV idea of doing a Frontline Solution CG.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that idea. Or slightly less. Why do we go and get a CG to deliver opinion polls?
I mean,
that doesn't look right.
I mean, I haven't gotten out of my ship for ages.
If you look at my stream, you might not want to.
Well,
I don't know where the hell I am.
Relog.
Yeah.
I genuinely, I ardently believe that we should be given more of an option to get out of our ships, and given more opportunities and more incentive to be getting out of our ships, because we've spent a lot of time making these beautiful suits that do everything that we want them to do, and the fact that we don't have them at the moment, I find, or don't have really any more of once you've done everything, you don't really have an incentive to do any more. It's kind of disappointing. That said, I think it's that time of the week.
Store alert! In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. A store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert. Which one will you buy? A store alert, 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 a store alert. Which one will you buy?
Yes, and we are back. Ben, I know you're floating around in
Yeah,
the
I'm
middle
just
of a
hanging out
Coriolis
here.
at the moment, just like chilling.
Yeah.
Can you put something down about?
Yeah. Yep. So, a bunch of folks won the Spot the Difference competition the other week. We haven't forgotten about you. It's just that with the servers going down and then me going away, getting to be able to actually send emails out was awkward. We haven't forgotten about you. I will be getting on that as soon as I can. That makes
There
sense?
we go. Yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense because I know that Kremen was asking me about it the other day, and I said that I'd poke you about it, and I totally forgot to. So that's
It's okay. Kremen did remember himself.
Okay, perfect. Good to know. In the store this week, we had we have a new Osiris paint pack, is our understanding. There wasn't, I didn't see a tweet about it, but we think that this one might be new. This is the same sort of style of paint that went on the Corvette, but it is the Osiris paint. So we get like brown, gold, aqua, crimson, white, blue, gold, blue, and black gold. I'm sure those aren't the actual names, and Ben's just put random words in there.
These are the actual names from the store.
You
Apart from
entirely kidding me.
I shit you not. Especially for the brown gold one,
Oh
where
my God, they actually are.
Yeah, the brown gold one was called black gold, but we had two black golds. And then when you look at the file name for the pretty picture, that's where brown gold came from.
Ah, okay.
So I was like, that ain't black.
Okay, what do we think of these?
Oh, they look a lot like poo, don't they?
The brown one does. The black one's all right. And I think the white and blue one actually works really well.
The white and blue one looks like an ambulance.
Yeah.
You know, compared to the Osiris on the Corvette, I mean, maybe it's down to the ship. They're quite underwhelming, really, aren't they?
Well, it is a Type 6. I mean, the only thing that would be less would be if it were a keelback.
Yeah.
My son.
I'm not getting very strong Egyptian vibes from these, whereas some of the other Osiris ones I do.
Yeah. I think the gold and the two different colours of blue is supposed to and the black and gold is supposed to evoke those Egyptian vibes, but they're
yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. I can't even think that I've ever flown a T6.
I flew a T6 back in the day when I was leveling up, essentially. Back when we actually had to work. Yeah. When we had to work to get our first 1,000,000 credits.
Within those first 20 minutes of playing the game, do you mean, Ben?
Well, for you maybe, but back in Alpha, you actually had to work at it.
Back when it were a proper game.
When you had to walk uphill both ways.
Both ways, exactly.
Love a T6. I took a T6 to Colonia with 20 light years.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Because it was full of limpets. I was taking limpets to Colonia for the Let's All Mine Osmium, but you can't buy limpets at Colonia yet. And I didn't get there in time. And by the time I got there, you could buy limpets.
No.
That's brilliant.
It's another win.
Such a perfect Elite Dangerous story, though.
Pretty much is, really, isn't it?
I quite like the T6. I went exploring the first time I went out to the Spirograph Nebula. I went out in a T6. There's a really nice paint job for the T6. I can't remember what it's called, but it's really reminiscent of old Chris Foss sci-fi, 70s sci-fi cover art, if people know that sort of stuff. And it just made for brilliant screenshots. It looks so good. Yeah, it's a good little ship. It's all right.
Apparently, Stephen Usher did the same as you, Jude, but dumped his limpets halfway, and then made twice the distance.
Wise choice.
Jude was like, "Absolutely not! I am going, and it's happening. I'm going to get there with it."
I am going to take these limpets.
I did give up, but I was practically there by that point, so I gained almost nothing from it except for wasting my limpet money.
Oh well.
It's fine. I wonder if the key feature overhaul could be Colonia. It's not going to be.
Colonia a feature?
That's even
Colonia
less
is a
like
way
it
of
than our
life.
place.
Yeah, maybe Hudson moves to Colonia.
Off you go, love. Off you go. Oh wow. Okay. I think what we're gonna do then is take a little bit of a break, and when we come back, we will move on to our main discussion.
Get ready. LAVE Radio.
Hey Commanders, this is Mick from Crazy Mick's Reptile Emporium and Warehouse. Due to a hysterical ordering mishap and not reading the fine print, I'm currently in possession of over 10,000 snakes. Many of which are deadly, so everything must go. We have anacondas, asps, cobras, diamondbacks, ferdlans, keelback, kraits, mambas, pythons, sidewinders and vipers, none of which are capable of spaceflight without being strapped to a rocket. Need a pet for your cockpit? Buy a snake. Need to scare your mother-in-law and give her a heart attack for the insurance money? Buy a snake. Need to fill a beluga full of snakes to assassinate a witness on their way to a Federation courthouse? Buy many snakes. Bulk discounts are available at Crazy Mick's Reptile Emporium and Warehouse. You can find us in the Lave Business Directory or visit us at the former site of Sensible Michael's Shipyard and Outfitting Warehouse. Will somebody get these mother snakes out of my mother warehouse?
We all know what it's like. You're busy managing your settlement when suddenly the alarms go off.
Oh no, not again.
That's right. A commander with a Federation naval rank of Admiral, an Imperial King no less, has landed in a ship worth over 100 million credits and is killing all your staff, while they look around for a 10 credit adhesive to glue an upgraded scope to their 100,000 credit assault rifle. They fly away with their super glue and you're left with a problem. How are you going to get your agricultural plant back up and running?
How am I going to get my plant up and running?
How are you going to find staff at short notice?
How am I going to find staff at short notice?
How are you going to deal with all those bodies?
There's bodies everywhere, and they've stained the carpet.
Wonder no longer. Call Aries Crime Scene Cleanup Services.
Hello, I'm Harry from Harry's Mine. After a sudden increase in robberies and murders by commanders since 3307, I've gained valuable expertise in cleaning up bodies, recruiting new staff and restocking stationary lockers. Now you can benefit from my experience by signing up to our Crime Scene Cleanup Service subscription plan.
That's right. For only a small monthly fee, when your settlement alarms are activated, our rapid response cleanup crew will be dispatched, along with our patented Cadaver Scoop 150. The Cadaver Scoop 150 can be mounted to surface reconnaissance vehicles and skimmers to make tidying up your settlement a breeze.
Wow, the bodies are gone.
Our recruitment team has potential new employees on standby across the galaxy, ready to fill your vacant roles in security, logistics, administration, processing, and more.
My plant's operational again. Thanks, Aries Crime Scenes Cleanup Services.
Aries Crime Scene Cleanup Services. We'll have your settlement as good as new before the next ship arrives. Cadaver Scoop 150 disposal bags sold separately.
There's bargains at Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium haven't just been slicing carcasses, but also slicing their prices. All unspecified meat sausages now 2 for the price of 1. A pack of assorted meat steaks, now with 50% more meat at half the price. How about chops? Our surprising meat chops now also 50% off. And introducing our massive meat hamper. It's a family of 4. No, that should say feeds a family of 4, right?
Stick to the script, Claire. It says it's a family of 4.
Okay, I'll stick to the script.
Yeah, you do that.
It's a family of 4. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. Find us in the Lave Business Directory or visit us next to the station mortuary. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. You'll wonder how our prices are so low.
While the team on Dex Island take a well-earned break before their Series 2 return, there's plenty of material to fill the void. Point your auto assistant to your favourite podcast app, including Spotify and Audible, and search The Dex Legacy. There you'll find bonus edition interviews with cast members and with the writer Emily Inkpen. There's also plenty of bonus materials and merch at www.thedexlegacy.com. All proceeds go towards the making of Season 2.
Lave Radio, broadcasting to every corner of the galaxy.
Fantastic. There was a new ad in there. I want to say that one is a proper gem. And thank you to Jeannie for doing the VO for that one. Very much appreciate it, my darling.
We've got
Okay.
a legit question before we can move on, Si.
Yes,
Si.
go for it.
Is Ari and Etienne Dawn in cahoots?
100% yes.
You heard it here.
Let's make it law. Let's make it stupid advert law. we'll get one. We'll get a thing.
Why do you think I played them?
It's canon.
We'll,
that's it.
we'll do it. We'll do it. It's stupid advert canon. It's its own separate canon, separate to the Elite Dangerous universe because it's not in the Codex.
But we know it's law, really.
We know it's true. We know it's true. Onto our main discussion then, gang. This was Alex's suggestion. We were talking about we talked about Frame Shift Live earlier. Did you all get an opportunity to watch Frame Shift Live?
So I watched through it at double speed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Similar-ish. So I didn't at the time, and then I watched it on catch up, and I skipped through most of it. I confess. Maybe we'll come on to why.
I watched the first half, and my reasons for why I didn't are entirely Pedro Pascal related, because his Hot Ones episode dropped at the same time, and I have a lot of loves in my life. Elite Dangerous is one, but Mando Daddy is incredibly important to me right now. So I might have just sort of like toodled off, and I still had it open and I was reading chat, but I might have like went off and watched that instead.
Talking about Mando Daddy, did you see that? I think he was in the UK, at least relatively recently.
Well, he wasn't in the UK on Sunday because he was presenting an Oscar with Elizabeth Olsen, and he looked delicious.
Yeah, because I was watching again on YouTube. He's doing a lot. He's all over YouTube at the moment.
Well, yeah,
he did.
He's got a lot of things to promote, Ben.
Oh yeah, but he did a Lad Bible thing with John Favreau. And they were comparing Chilean and American foods in the UK.
Ben, that was a couple of weeks back.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
I just
you assume that I don't watch anything that comes out of it straight away.
But I love the fact that they were comparing legitimate Chilean foods and legitimate American foods, except that they got them both in the UK.
Quite. Right. Anyway, Anyway, to steer you back away from Tangent Town for just a moment, Jude, did you watch the Frame Shift Live this week?
Yeah, I had to nip off during a little bit of the AX, I will admit, because I just had to cook stuff. But I thought they did a lovely job with the green screen. In an entirely non-contentious thing to say. I like to see them floating in space and whatnot, sitting in the bar.
Agreed. I absolutely do.
So well.
Now we should. The main crux of the reasoning why we wanted to talk about this today. Alec, give me a little bit of feedback on the episode.
Well, I mean, more generally, what I thought would be interesting would be to sort of discuss what sort of live streams we like, and maybe what were some of our favourites and what we think Frontier could do going forward. But on this particular one, I had two slight issues with it, and then they're really nothing to do with the people involved. So for the two guys that came on from AXI, I've been in a similar position where we've done kind of buckyball things in the past, and I know it's incredibly difficult to do those live streams. You're really looking forward to it before it happens. You think, oh, this is going to be fun, and then various things happen. You have maybe you have instancing issues, which mean you've got this plan in your head of how the hour is going to go, and that's something I'll say as well, is that time goes fast. You might not seem it when you're watching it, perhaps, but it goes really fast. But you've got an idea of what you want to do, with the guys from Frontier. But then it starts to maybe fall apart because there's instancing issues. The other reason it falls apart, and again, no disrespect to Arthur or the guys at Frontier, but often the people that go on Frontier live streams to show off something, like the Buckyballers or like the guys from AXI, are at the absolute top of their game. And it's very easy to forget how hard it is for someone at the bottom of the game to do what you think you're going to do on the live stream. And so you very quickly have to sort of readjust your, oh shit, they can't do this, we're going to have to do something else. So that's all really difficult. And then the other thing is an entirely personal thing that I just find watching combat really tedious, but that's just me, I guess.
Yeah, no, and that's completely fair and valid. Like, it's one of those things where you're not going to please everyone with all of the content that you produce, and things along those lines. I've just realised, both myself and Beetlejude have both been on different Frontier live streams as well. In our cases, each time was talking about lore, but not playing the game at the same time.
I was trying to remember whether I'd been on with you, but I think you were on, and then a few weeks later, they had people back, didn't they?
Yeah, and I wasn't one of those, which was really, really annoying. And I will explain to you. I will explain to you why it felt really annoying. It was because they gave me a list of talking points, and then didn't give me an opportunity to follow through on those talking points, because it was around the middle of the Azimuth saga. That's about right, wouldn't you say, Jude?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I thought maybe you were before then, because
it was definitely Azimuth saga, because I went on with Malik and Crow, and it all got taken up by talking about stuff that happened before the Azimuth saga, and I was like, my area of expertise. And I said this when I went on. I was like, my area of expertise is the Azimuth saga, and the prompts that they'd given us to talk about were the Azimuth saga and stuff like that. And I was like, please just give me an opportunity to talk about the Azimuth saga. And we were talking about Federation shit that had happened like years before I'd even started playing the game. And so that's a kind of a different frustration. It was given the plans and then not being able to follow through, and not being able to fully showcase. I wanted to be able to like showcase the knowledge that I had, and I know that might sound a little bit conceited, but I felt like I came across like someone who was a noob who didn't really understand anything that was going on in the game, and I'd like to say that I don't feel like that's the case, but yeah, it was a little bit frustrating from like a personal angle, but that's by the by. For me, this live stream was kind of taken over by some other commanders' entire toxicity in chat, and I think that's about the time when I went, okay, I'm kind of done with this. And it was clear that AXI had come with a lot of they'd done a lot of prep. They'd come with a lot of professional. They had slides. They were talking about all of the different ranks that they've got within the AXI, which is one of the big things with the AXI. You've done certain kills with certain things. With certain variants of Interceptor, you get different ranks, and it kind of like they rank you in the game, and there was a lot of toxicity about that in chat that was echoed by a lot of other commanders, and it was really disappointing to see. And I think a lot of it stems from jealousy, for sure. But that was sort of like my main takeaway from it was other anti-Xeno groups, very specifically, their toxicity in regard to the AXI, and that bothered me. That bothered me quite a lot. Ben,
The idea, possibly naive. Who's holding a gun to your head saying "read the chat"?
so as someone who makes a lot of Twitch content, I find it really interesting to read the chat, so I have a good idea of who I can ban from my chat if they're being a complete arsehole.
Yeah, I guess basically where I'm coming from is if the chat is annoying you for whatever reasons, but you're enjoying the stream, why not mute the chat?
I will 100% take your suggestions on board and then ignore them because of FOMO.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to miss out on what people are saying, and also I find it like a really
But if
good.
people are being cunts in chat,
oh, here we go.
Don't listen to it.
It's kind of a barometer as well for the general. It's an as someone who creates a lot of Elite Dangerous content, I find I find it a really interesting barometer as to how some of the more vocal aspects of Elite Dangerous are feeling, and it is something as someone who likes to continue creating, would like to continue creating Elite Dangerous content and other content for a living. It's like a good metric of to what to base your content on.
I guess it can be. I mean, it can be a vocal minority that
100%.
Completely not a barometer for how most people are enjoying the stream as well. So you have to. I was going to say, the other thing I was going to say to Ben is, I know the couple of streams that I've done on Buckyball stuff. Like I was saying, and I'm sure the AXI guys are the same. You're quite hyped before you do this. You've been looking forward to it all week. You really enjoy what you do. You're really enjoying. You're really looking forward to showing everyone else what you do. I think you go in to these things thinking it's going to be fucking brilliant. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. So I think you do watch chat, kind of thinking, oh, we're going to get some nice comments. And so if you do get comments that aren't nice, they can come as quite a surprise, and you can't unsee the first one, so it can shake you a bit. I think it's like,
yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no,
and then you're sort of in your head, you're rapidly reevaluating what this fun evening's entertainment that you had planned for everyone, thinking, oh God, is this all rubbish? So it's difficult.
It's weird. It's weird because we there's an element of like thriving on that attention and that approval from your peers, and when you don't, the first time you don't get it from somebody, it can be a bit of a kick in the teeth.
But why do you care about getting approval from somebody who is a cunt?
Because a lot of people who aren't cunts who are also watching might actually allow me to contribute to the cost of living of my house, and that is at the end of the day what I'm trying to do. And I know that's a very, very different mindset from a lot of people, but it's certainly something that I need to take an eye on.
I completely understand why you need to monitor your chat and have an idea what people like.
And that's
but if somebody's being just being rude and ignorant, ban that twat and get rid of them. Why do you need them? You don't need them in your life.
True, absolutely, and that's also a very good metric. Is looking at the Elite Dangerous stream and seeing who's being the worst, and then getting rid. It is. You can get a vibe from people. You can absolutely get a vibe from people, and some people I got new vibes from this week. Shall I say? Let's say I got vibes from people who were surprising to me. Alec.
Yeah, chat aside, which is obviously a I sort of wanted to ask whether people had like favorite Frontier live streams from the past, and what it. I guess let's exclude the ones where the devs are on, because we all love that and we all want the devs to come on and tell us about all the great stuff they're working on, and those are obvious winners. But maybe the more community focused ones, and there've been a few recently, and there were loads in the past. When you think back to Ed Lewis and the sort of Educating Ed series, I just wondered if people had favorites and why they were favorites, and what they think makes a really good, maybe sort of community based Frontier live stream. Is that a good question?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is.
Can I dive into that one?
100% you can, yeah.
All right. Ignoring the fact that we've got a brilliant guest on today, I remember, and I'm not brown-nosing her at all, but Jude's stream was bloody brilliant.
The law one with
no, the picture one. Can you do a picture one as well, Jude? Or am I dreaming about that?
Think you're dreaming, worryingly, about me on a live stream.
I could have sworn that you've done. Is it just the front?
I don't know. I don't think
it could
so.
just be the amount that Frontier gush whenever you send them pictures, and it felt like they were just talking about you a lot, and maybe that's what I was thinking.
Now, you have shown one of my videos on stream.
I was going to say, I'm seeing it in my head now, and I'm wondering if...
It might have been the one where they had their video, yeah. It might have just been that. And I talking about the chat, I remember the chat going, "Oh my god, Jude's so great," and everything like that as well.
Yeah, well, because everybody loves Jude because she's a perfect human.
She is.
When I was on the law stream, I completely forgot everything I had ever learned or knew about Elite. Everything, nothing in my head whatsoever. It was just jelly. I didn't know what to say.
Was that just nerves, or?
Yeah, I think so. I was totally out of my depth, really. I do remember, and I am interested in the law, but I think they may have rather expected me to know more than
me just read words.
Yeah. Well, I like the words. The words are interesting. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a...
Yeah, in that case, then, if I'm dreaming about that, I think that when Jude on to do some picturey thing, I bet you that would actually go down right well.
Do you know when we all were stuck at home for COVID and there was a Lave con? Was it that?
It might be that.
It might have been that. It might have been that, and everything's just mushing in together. But I just remember it being really interesting and really chill, and everybody just having a good time.
Oh, well, the way the game looks. People do get annoyed about that, even, don't they? The tiling. But yeah, for the most part, people think it's quite a pretty game, and if you're just colouring in pictures.
I think the length of the screenshots thread is testament to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I did like the Educating Ed series. I do like it when somebody wants to not show off, that's the wrong phrase, a skill, or maybe that's something that the community doesn't necessarily all know how to do. Here's an interesting thing, it's sort of slightly an aside, but doing this caustic sync stuff, and this sort of little forum thread I've been writing about, sort of the journey from getting all the engineering to getting the caustic sync. And quite early on, I realized, oh, hang on a minute, everyone seems to have done this already. Everyone was like going, I've got 25 caustic syncs, and blah, blah. And there was videos of how, within 2 days of stuff. And I was thinking, oh, am I wasting my time here? Because I'm going to take a week doing this, and people. But actually, I got a few bits of quite nice feedback along the lines of people saying, no, that's like a small minority that are for whom this is easy. There's a lot of people out here who like to do things at this slow pace and probably won't be back to the bubble doing this stuff for weeks because we're out exploring, and seeing somebody's trials and tribulations to achieve something is really interesting. So yeah, sort of streams that show you how to do something, that take it right back to basics, even if they're not telling me anything new. I really enjoy those, actually.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like we're gonna go, like, for example, a stream where you go from nothing to getting relics or something like that.
Yeah.
I like those as well.
I really liked that one where Alec was, I think it was Alec, was teaching, was it Stephen and Bruce or somebody like that, how to drive up a building?
That was great. I mean, Black Maze mostly hosted that, and he's got a really good, calm, clear way of sort of doing instructional, and he'd thought through a step by step, tip the SRV back, boost up. It was like a really nice progression. Which we ended up getting Stephen driving an SRV up a vertical wall, and it went. I mean, even that, for whatever reason, originally I was going to do the driving, and Black Maze was going to do camera work and sort of comment on what I was doing, and something to do with being in the instance with the Frontier guys, my joystick completely failed to work. So that was an absolute disaster. But we managed to gloss over it, and that worked really well actually.
Yeah, I think if the Frontier ask you on, it's really important to have those sort of like plans in place and make sure that you've got something planned, but also, as you were saying earlier, Alec, making sure that it's pointed in the direction of
keep it simpler than you might.
Yeah, keep it simpler. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. I didn't want to say noob,
but that is the thing. When you want to go on a show like that, it's because you're good at something, and remembering what it's like to be bad at something is really difficult. I get asked so many times, how do I drive the SRV like that? And I sort of don't know, and I sort of can't quite remember why it was difficult.
Mate,
it's really hard to try.
Somebody asked me the other day, how am I so good at driving the SRV like that? And I was like, absolutely not. Go and speak to Alec.
Yeah.
I love your video the other day, Alec, of you getting the caustic sink launch, unlocking trying to get one caustic tissue.
The one where I blew up.
Oh yeah, I felt so bad for you at the end. It's great.
See, because that was funny. I didn't set out to make that as a video that I was going to release. I just thought I'll record everything and maybe I'll get something I can show. And then really at the end of the session, I had 5 or 6 trips into the maelstrom, most of which were moderately successful. And that one was the only one that I thought. In fact, all I did is I jammed it. I thought I'll go with this one because it's the first attempt, and it's quite good to show a failure because people can learn from that in the same way as And then I just watched it and started adding captions to it. And before at the end, I thought, actually, that does tell. These things that it's a really complicated game, and these things that we do, we've got all these bindings that are, we've got muscle memory on the joystick and on the keyboard, and we just select boarding permission and select sub target and launch a limpet and switch fire groups and kick off a laser. And when you actually start to break it down and try and show and explain to somebody, or write captions in a video saying step by step, you think, Jesus, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of information to convey, and I find it very interesting watching those sort of videos that do. Even if it's stuff I know, I just find it quite reassuring to have somebody tell me all the stuff I'm doing and think, oh yeah,
I did do that right, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you think that would be something you'd want to see more of that going forward from Frontier in their sort of live streams? Is there anything else that you want to see, or do you want to see something brought back? Obviously open to everyone, but starting with Alec.
Yeah, I mean, there are some aspects of the game that I would almost quite like to see Frontier explain, or someone from. It's a bit like getting a dev on, so despite what I said earlier about ignoring that, but a couple of examples. So when I recently went out doing a bit of exploring to do exobiology, and I realized I still wasn't entirely sure the difference between things like, if you go to a completely brand new system that nobody has ever been to before, and you don't honk and you open the system map, I think you only see the stars. And then if you honk, is it that the planets are all just grey balls, but they don't know? Do you know what I mean? I realized I didn't quite know the full.
It's
full
not the same
range
as
of-
you honk. You used to be able to honk and see all of the planets straight away, but you
Yeah.
don't see that anymore. You have to FSS for it.
And I thought that'd be quite interesting as a recap of maybe the DSS and FSS, and just take an hour to go through the whole thing of exploring a system and explaining what each of the tools does, what it's supposed to do. They may have already done it. The other one,
Yeah, but they could drill that down all the way through to exobiology as well, couldn't they? It could go from again showing like the sphere of the sphere of exploration as opposed to the sphere of combat, but it's showing you flying somewhere and then getting to a point where you get out to your SLV, drive around looking for something, and then scanning something would be a really nice, solid showcase.
Yeah, and another one that's really obvious is just trade. I mean, I know everyone goes straight to EDDB, and it's so easy. I mean, why wouldn't you? I suppose, but there are these filters and things in the game for picking commodity and then selecting exports, and you get the little blue diamonds that show you the exports. And when you go to the commodity screen, I think there's comparative prices on the. There's quite a lot of stuff in there that I think we don't sort of use. And I wouldn't mind a little tutorial on how to go and buy some gold at the best price and sell it. Do you know what I mean? Just a little rundown of basic stuff almost. I'd quite like to see tutorials on basic stuff, but given by someone in the community. Just
Yeah.
What
I
other?
really
Actually,
like
no,
those.
sorry, I've hogged too much space. I did enjoy the stunt show. They did, and I know
I
was
love that
slightly
so much. It was so good.
Did you? Because I couldn't decide if that was just bias because I loved that, but I thought that was really good.
I thought it was so good. It was just something. It was something entirely different. That's like just a completely different thing, and it was like open to all different members of the community. They didn't have to organize anything with anyone else, things like that. That was really, really good. That was really good. Ben.
I was just thinking with Alec with what Alec was saying about getting somebody on from the beginning to from the top to the bottom explaining stuff. And originally Alex said he'd get a dev on to do it, and then at the end he said get community on. And before he said get community on, I was like, do you want a dev to explain that, or would you like somebody from say Distant Worlds or somebody big in the exploration community to explain all that, or do you want the designer to come along and explain it?
You're right. Someone from the exploration community would be great because I think there's a kind of meta game beyond that which they know better. They know really what exploration's about, whereas I think the Frontier presentation might be a bit dry.
Yeah,
I know as a software engineer, so I create I sort of design and create cataloging software for museums, but I am not a museum curator. So I often put things in the user interface that I think will be useful, or I used to do a lot of training, and I would sort of talk about using the software in a certain way. But when you hear a curator talk about using my software to another curator or at an exhibition or presentation or something that they do, it's absolutely mind-blowing. I hear a museum curator talking about software that I made, and nobody in the world knows how to use it better than me, but they put such a different spin on it that it's completely eye-opening. It's like, oh, that's what the software is actually for. Wow.
Yeah, I can emphasize. I can relate to that in my real life as well.
What about you, Jude? Is there anything? I'll come back to you, Ben.
No, it's cool. I think we've commented on what we were thinking about anyway.
What about you, Jude? Is there anything that you've loved in the past, or anything that you'd like to see? Anything else that you'd like to see going forward from Frontier outside of dev stuff?
Oh, I really loved the sound one, but yeah, that was dev stuff.
Yeah, the sound one was very good.
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah, definitely the zoo type format stuff where they have a couple of different people on and drag people in just to say a few things here and there. I've always liked the novelty streams they've done where they've had light-hearted stuff in between, because they don't, they don't have stuff to say every week. Well, that's why they don't do it every week anymore. But yeah, I've enjoyed having, like, when they had Orange Phoenix on to show them how to use the camera. Things where people know what they're doing. I definitely agree that's always enjoyable. People have carved their own little niches, and they're always good ones. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, you've already talked about them.
No, absolutely. I'd like to see more lore streams, but maybe with some other commanders, or maybe people who have been on before who maybe didn't get the chance to say what they wanted to say. That would be really nice.
Well, to be fair, some of the people did end up being in the lore.
Listen, that wasn't my. I didn't set out to do it, Jude. It wasn't intentional. It was a happy coincidence that
fabulous.
It was wonderful. It made us a scapegoat for the anti-Xenolots, calling us all sorts of names under the sun, and I've been perfectly nice. I really like it, especially the ones that I wasn't on. I really enjoyed. I have this thing where I can listen to Pete speak for hours, and I will listen to Pete speak for hours.
I'm not certain you get much choice.
You don't, But he is so knowledgeable and so fantastic that I would quite happily have Sally and Arthur just talking to Pete about his opinions on everything that has happened in Elite. I think that would be fantastic.
I'd like to predict stuff and see whether it's right. There should be like a little bingo sheet of whether it happens or not.
Wotherspoon's predictions. We should do that.
There should be a jingle for it, certainly.
There should be a jingle. We'll get Tokuso right on that, or Jane Tracks, one of the two. We'll have a jingle. We'll have him do his predictions as part of Galnet News Digest at the end of the show. That'd be great.
I will be. It might.
Let's make it happen.
He is right, though. He's quite often right.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yes.
Anyway, we're off on Tangent Town talking about how much we love Pete.
Fabulous human being, despite it all.
In spite of himself, he is fantastic. That's what you said, right, Jude? That's a quote right now.
Nothing to say that would be any value whatsoever right now.
Ben, is there anything that you feel that we haven't covered, or is there anything that you can think that you would like to see?
Already covered the silly streams and things like that. I think that was a lot of fun. That was. I remember ages ago. I want to say it. Oh, I could well be wrong with who I want to say it was. But I remember like there was a. Sorry, I'm getting shot at big time here as well. And it's all very distracting. Thank you, Chris, whoever that was. They did. I remember there's a sports day kind of thing where they're just doing silly things in and around stations, and that was always a lot of fun. But where they do all these fun little streams, you've got these ignorant so-and-sos who are still in the community, and they raise valid concerns, but they're too focused on their valid concern and want to know why are a couple of community managers spending an hour or two playing a silly little video game as opposed to building more ships or fixing something or redesigning power play or something like that. And they don't seem to understand that as lovely and great as Arf and Sally and the team are, they can't build spaceships. They can't redesign power play. That's not their skill set.
Do you feel that? Do you guys feel that Frameshift Live should come with a warning right at the beginning of the stream, sort of warning? Sally, the presenter of this show, do not make the actual features that go into the game. If you keep asking them where your next ships are, it just means that they're just not going to make them. Like Sally and Arthur don't make these ships.
They should know that anyway. I don't.
Yeah, people should know that.
Yeah, I
If these
don't
guys
understand
weren't
why they
doing
ask
this,
it.
they wouldn't be at a desk writing code. This is
Yeah.
what we do.
This is what they do, and they work really hard, and they're bloody good at it. They listen.
Yeah, and all these people do is spoil things for the rest of us.
We were talking a little bit before we started. We started today. I don't want to like circle it back to something super negative, but we were talking about a little bit about before we started today about sort of like seeing people make silly comments in chat and seeing people make negative comments in chat, and sometimes some of these folks are also like content creators, and it's that thing doing it from a place of or what makes that person better than me, I should be on this list, and all of those kind of things. And it is, we entirely know that from experience, we know that Frontier is watching and they are paying attention. So when things like this and things like that are overtly negative appear in chat, don't think that you're not going on some kind of shit list with Frontier.
Yeah.
Which again is something that folks should know, in the same way of that the community team are fantastic, but they don't make the game, they don't build the game, they're not sat coding when they're not fronting the amazing beautiful content that they do front.
Well, actually, one thing I'll say, in fact, I'd almost forgotten this. It used to be weekly, didn't it?
It did.
It did, yeah. At one point, it was twice a week. They used to do a half-an-hour show twice a week.
I mean, I think it's been a really good move to go to fortnightly, because particularly, and this isn't the CMs, or this is just Frontier policy, and it's been Frontier policy for a long time now. Is they don't give much away. So in terms of genuine dev news, they don't actually have a lot to say. So even 2 weekly, I think I wouldn't say they struggle to do a show every 2 weeks. No, I wouldn't want it to go less, but it's just enough. So quite often there isn't room to do to do the sort of streams we're discussing tonight. Every 2 weeks, but there's room to do them occasionally. But equally, I think people that are screaming for sort of news, or saying, why are you just mucking about playing a game when you should be telling us something, or those people should know by now that Frontier are pretty tight-lipped. There isn't going to be much news. This is what Frameshift Live is, and if you don't like it, maybe don't tune in.
Yeah. I mean, just stay the 15 minutes for your drops.
Yeah.
But I feel like absolutely 100% agree with you. The 2 hours, the moving to 2 hours every 2 weeks is it feels like it's something that they can be a much more relaxed format as well, and it gives them time to include all the bits that they want to include without it feeling rushed, but also when they get to that second hour and there's something that they do want to feature, then they have that space and they have that breathing space, like when they have a dev on. And we know that we love the fact that when they have devs on, when they have my personal favorite Tom, who again is another person I could listen to speak for absolutely hours, and I've been in a privileged enough position to be able to listen to him speak for hours upon end. It's been it's really nice to. I'm gonna be so superfluous. Bathe in the effervescence of their passion for the game.
Yeah,
and I think it's so beautiful for Frontier to have the breathing space to give these developers an opportunity to showcase how passionate they are.
Here.
I didn't realise I was going to get all mushy about it. It's not even a depth.
Get a bit gushy there, yeah.
I got a little bit gushy. About Elite. Who knew? Who knew that I would get excited about this particular video game? Dead game though, mate, innit?
Yeah, I love that actually. It was like, we've got 17,000 people on our Discord, and then it's like, yeah, dead game.
Dead game. Complete and utter dead game. Oh man.
I agree completely with what Evans is saying. It's like, on Twitch he's saying everything. Sorry, it's Helmut Grokenberg. Sorry, I'd argue that not every stream needs to be big news. There's nothing wrong with a nice community hangout every once in a while.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I think also like having a good moderation team is really important. A good a moderation team, and that goes for all streams and all live streamed content. Having a team that can moderate a chat that just get the vibe of what you're going for in that particular instance and that particular day is chef's kiss beautiful, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to the mods. I genuinely feel for them. On the Frontier stream, gods. I really felt for them.
Some days, Panther Clipper when.
Hey, every time you bring it up, it gets slipped back a few weeks.
That's why we made that advert, and I play it all the time. Yep. Is there anything before we round up this conversation on that beautiful reciprocal ball of loveliness? Sitch, is there anything that anybody else wants to bring up?
No, I'm good.
Awesome. Jude, Ben, anything?
Last week... Oh, go on.
Jude. No, you go first,
Jude's
Jude.
going.
It was... Oh.
Go.
Last week you were going on about the Chinese orbital graveyard.
Yes.
How insanely heavy work would that be on the server to have thousands of orbiting ships that you could interact with every single one of them, and thousands of NPCs, basically, all of them potentially scannable? And how would that be? That would be worse than any asteroid belt, wouldn't it?
You're making me love the idea even more, though.
But imagine, I mean, I don't know.
I know that's meant to be the scale of things.
Yeah.
I guess I was only ever picturing it as something a little bit bigger than one of the rec sites that we've got.
Oh, right. Well, there are rec sites already, and they're already quite hard.
Yeah, I was going to say that
bandwidth and whatnot, aren't they?
And you mentioned asteroid belts, but they don't seem to be a load on the server. I mean, there's infinite, as asteroids for as long as you can be bothered to fly through them. They just go on forever, pretty much. And
I don't know if they
really cause a load.
necessarily. I don't know how many polygons an asteroid has in comparison to a bunch of anacondas, though.
Yeah, I mean, those large debris fields, there's a lot going on in those, and it seems to cope pretty well.
How many ships do you normally get in a debris field, though? I have 3 or 4.
It's only 1 or 2, yeah. It's not a lot.
Even the large debris field. It's a lot of debris, but I suppose how many actual ships. What I mean is each bit of debris is quite a complex little shape.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know
I'm just wondering how many people's computers could.
I feel like it's
populate
doable.
that. Yeah, I don't know enough or anything about computer game servers or anything like that, so I couldn't say. But it does sound quite heavy in terms of.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know.
This is off topic, but it did make me laugh today, and you've just reminded me of it, Jude. Which is this is Star Citizen 3.18,
the coffee cup debacle.
Yeah, did you hear that they've asked people to tidy up? I think that was so damn funny. So for people that don't know, one of the big issues in this update of Star Citizen is this thing called persistent entity streaming, which the basic idea is that you can leave a coffee cup and then go and fly off to another system and land at another planet and come back the next day, and your coffee cup will be where you left it.
And who didn't see this coming?
And the funny thing is that when it launched, of course, the first thing that everyone did is start leaving litter everywhere. And it's killing the servers, and they've asked people to stop leaving litter around, which I find absolutely hilarious.
Frankly, you've not been able to log on to the servers, even to leave litter anyway. But I know during the testing stage of that, people were deliberately throwing out hundreds of plushies around the stations to test. But to be fair, and bringing it back to Elite, back in the Alpha of Elite, before they went off and implemented the 30 or 40 or however few canisters you can now eject, you used to be able to eject as many canisters as your ship could hold.
And then your computer would explode, right?
Oh, so during the Alpha, I had a lovely screenshot of people dropping a Type 9 full of biowaste inside of the station. And people were doing it, filling it up with biowaste, dropping again. And it was like 1 frame a minute kind of idea. It was mental.
Those are shenanigans that I can absolutely get behind.
Oh, completely.
How did they not see that this was coming then?
Yeah, exactly. Frontier didn't, they didn't realize, and then like, okay, yeah, maybe we'll, as soon as there are more than 100 limpets or whatever it is in the area, we'll start tidying up after ourselves. And to be fair to RSI, in theory, they've got some kind of back-end process that basically says, okay, that shit, get rid of all that. Okay, that is, that item there is actually a real thing that somebody wants. So everything's on some kind of sliding scale. So your rubbish of your water bottles, that all gets binned, but your
bullet shell
gun
cases, it's not keeping all your bullet shell cases lying around.
but maybe if you put your gun down, then that'll be kept.
Yeah.
And that's meant to be on some kind of sliding scale that gets cleaned up automagically by the servers. It's just the servers are so smegged right now, it's ridiculous.
That's funny.
It is absolutely hilarious.
I love that for them. I'm sure they will 100% get around it for
I'm sure they will eventually. It's just, Frontier did. It took them a few weeks, but they got around it as well. It was glorious flying out of a Coriolis station, barging canisters of biowaste out of your way just to get out.
Gauntlet.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. I've seen a couple of I follow a couple of Star Citizen streamers, and I've seen that they've rather suspiciously not been playing Star Citizen as of late, and I now understand.
Yeah.
Because holy nuts. It's
ridiculous.
I kind of imagine using the same PC to stream with all of those entities and with Star Citizen being what it is. Holy nuts, man. Wowza. I think then on that nonsense and shenanigans, which we wholeheartedly approve of over here at Lave Radio, then we shall move on then to the community corner. This week on the community corner, I've done another video. I did another video for the every Monday. I try every Monday to whack out a video for the old the ads that me and Chris Mark 4 have been doing. I've been putting graphics and images to them. This week, Dr. Pope's Caustic Burn Cream. Which is one of my favourites. I've still got a few more to do, so they'll be coming infinitely. Not infinitely. We don't have that much content until we run out of content. Alec, you have Buckyball news.
We have Buckyball news. Yeah. So yes, I've been sort of stubbornly taking a back seat and letting the letting some of the other guys run with this. And yeah, I think we're finally at a point where we can announce that folks can dust off the regulation Cobra from last year, because we're going to try and stick with it again. I
Can
think
we
it's
take
so.
the guns off it this time?
Yes, I have in
Yes.
brackets in my notes, and strip off its stupid guns.
Fantastic.
Yeah, for people that don't know, we had this season of 8 races last year, and we really liked the idea of just having one ship that was your regulation ship, and you stuck with it, even the outfitting throughout the whole season. And one of the races, you were going to use guns to shoot open doors in installations, and we ended up not doing that race. So we had ships. These ships had these stupid guns for the entire season and never used them once. So yeah, dust off your Cobra, get off the guns. It's a bit of a mouthful. We're not very good at naming stuff. It's the Buckyball Magic 8-Ball 2 Sweet 16 series.
Incredible.
8 races running from April through to November. So the first race is it's the only one we've definitely confirmed is going to be in April, and it's going to be called Empire Hustle, and it's an entirely it's an entirely Empire-based race, with the one concession that you're allowed to use the regulation Cobra. So yeah,
Fantastic.
race season is nearly upon us, folks.
Fantastic. My race is in August. I can't bloody wait.
Excellent.
Oh man, I need to start working on that, because otherwise I'm going to forget, and it's going to be August, and I'm going to be like, oh shit, we're doing the Borrego run. Yeah, that our community corner's a little bit sparse today, but that's it. But I'm very much looking forward to being in the 1 Point Club until I'm not this
Yeah,
year.
I think we're probably going to stick with the same points system as last year. It was fine. It's nice and easy. You know, what was it? 10 for first, 9 for second.
Yeah, something on those lines.
So on. I think the only thing I haven't quite decided. This is something I want to do. The only thing we might do is this has always been contentious, whether race hosts can take part in their own race or not. I think what we might do is let race hosts win a maximum of 4 points or something. So if a race host wants to take part in their own race and actually have try and do well, then they can do well to an extent, but they can't end up in the embarrassing situation of winning your own race. Doesn't really
Incredible. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. Holy nuts.
And sorry, one other thing I've just remembered. We had a long discussion about 3.8, 4.0 or Odyssey. And it really reminded me of the discussion we had earlier in this show about CGs, and at what point do you say, oh, for God's sake, just, So what we're going to do is we're going to basically say, we're going to sort of promote using Horizons 4.0, which everyone has access to.
Mm-hmm.
For space races where, there's no planetary stuff whatsoever, we'll let people run with 3.8, so people can still play on console if they want. Where there's planetary stuff, we haven't decided yet. I'd quite like to do an SRV race because I like that stuff.
Yeah.
Then we'll stick to Horizons 4.0 planets. We won't go on Odyssey planets for exactly the reasons we discussed earlier. We just feel it's a little bit unfair, particularly where this is just a fun race series, to insist that people shell out 25 quid for the ability to take part in a race.
Are Horizons 4.0 planets the same as Odyssey 4.0 planets, though?
At my understanding, I could be wrong, is that if you have Horizons 4.0, you can't land on thin atmospheric planets.
Yeah, that's true.
So as an example, there's a little race I wanted to do, and I really liked the idea of using the atmospheric planets because they're so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're going to do is we'll have this season of 8 races, and those will be Horizons 4.0 only for the races in the season. But we might throw out some little fun races not part of the season, and
It's too many slices, Alec. It's too many races. 8 was a lot last year.
So if I want to run an Odyssey only race that uses thin planets and whatever, the season will be Horizons 4.0.
Okay, cool. Cool. Awesome.
Silly question to Alec.
Mm-hmm. Sorry?
Just wondering about the whole 4.0 versus Horizons stuff, or 3.8 stuff. And I get what you're saying about allowing the console users in, but is there a even negligible, because some of these races are blooming close, time difference between using maps in one system versus another?
There is. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. There is. There comes a point with these things where it's meant to be fun, and you just have to stop worrying about it. Yeah, so some of the loading screens, the little things like the animation when you land and you hit launch again, and the animation of going down, turning around, and going up, it takes a different amount of time in 3.0.
I'm just thinking that people might deliberately hack the system in inverted commas by saving a couple of seconds here and there by using 3.8 instead.
I don't know what to say about that.
I don't know what to say about that either. It's just something I was thinking about.
I won't be doing stuff in 3.8, that's for sure.
Let's just try and keep it fun. Ages ago, I don't know if this is still so much a thing, but I know ages ago in racing, we used to do... we used to have things like people running their game in super low res because they got better frame rates and shaved 2 seconds off their time. I don't know. At some point, you have to get.
I know some people get really competitive over it.
Yeah.
Fair play to them. If they want to get really competitive, fair play to them. It's all good.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons we've always, occasionally, we've done prizes. Prizes are nice, but we've never been big on prizes because of exactly this reason. I don't want it to become competitive where people start getting pissed off because somebody ran a hacked version of the game in low res and won something that was really nice.
It's always competitive, though. I'm coming for you, Apifest. I mean, just any random other person. I think we'll move on to our mostly clueless section, which is one from Alec, which is both unverified and an allegedly in here.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't really have a mostly clueless, but I did hear this, and I'm definitely going to go and put this to the test. Somebody just casually posted in my forum thread that the pulse wave analyzer highlights caustic generators.
You know what? You don't even need to make that unverified because it's absolutely true. It certainly does. Yeah, you can see them a lot easier when you use a pulse wave.
Do they have the kind of pulse wave after effect where they remain glowing like
a little bit? It's like 3 little squares. If they're really far away, there's like 3 little pixel square kind of things on your screen, but you can see them a lot better.
Amazing.
Weird.
What does night vision do?
I was just going to ask that, Jude.
Night vision isn't too much of a help. It's not like it's not like how vital night vision is when you're fighting Thargoids, but
in the dark. The thing with night vision,
not just in the dark.
Night vision doesn't have the range, so when you're in the cloud,
that's
initially, and you're kind of looking for a caustic generator to go and scan or whatever. Initially, you're literally straining, looking for a pixel in the distance, kind of thing, and night vision just doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, but pulse wave analyzer absolutely does. It's really useful.
I wonder how that came in. I wonder how that worked, because pulse wave analyzer is the thing that we use for mining, isn't it?
Yeah. So when you use your pulse wave analyzer, it highlights every single rock and then makes the nice ones. The nice ones are like a yellowy orange.
Yeah.
But the other ones are just like
an orangey orange, aren't they?
No, the other ones are just blue. So when you use your pulse wave in a maelstrom, you can it picks out the caustic generators as if they were a very small asteroid.
I really hope that feature is kept.
Yeah, I hope so as well.
It's not patched out. That's great.
It's really helpful. It's really helpful. So we can cross out unverified on there because I have done it. It is verified. It is truth.
And there's no allegedly about it either, I guess.
No allegedly. It works. It works. It absolutely works. So we're getting to the business end of the evening. Anybody got any other business that they wish to share or now forever hold their peace?
I will very quickly thank Atris for sending me a mug that I won when I was shooting Thargoids with the truckers the other week. Thank you very much, guys. It's much appreciated.
Oh, beautiful. What a wonderful segue, because, you know, our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, they broadcast on Thursdays from 8:30 p.m. You can tune in at twitch.tv/Hutton Orbital Truckers, or for just the audio, you can do so at radio.forthemug.com. For the discerning commander who likes a little bit of CQC action, you can check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC. We're also giving shout outs to the following Elite Dangerous podcasts who have appeared over the last year or are standard regular contributors. That's the Guard Frequency, who do other space games, and our friends over at Loose Screws. Following this, we have the latest Galnet News Digest, as provided by Commander Wotherspoon and the beautiful, effervescent Commander BEETLEJUDE. Thank you to those who have chipped in on Twitch chat and our in-game commanders. Who have we had?
We've had Andy Sharp 42, Siberius, William Solo, and Rich 1986. Rich.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And special thanks to Commander Takoso, JM Trax, and Alan Stroud, who created the music used on the show. That is it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you would like to get in touch with the show, then you can email info@laveradio.com, hit us up on facebook.com/laveradio, tweet at Lave Radio on Twitter, toot at Lave Radio at spacey.space on Mastodon, or you can join our Discord server by going to discord.io/Lave Radio. We also have a TeamSpeak server where commanders can come and hang out and chat, which you can find at teamspeak.laveradio.com. Do get in touch if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 and streamed out at laveradio.com/live. Thank you to Alec.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you to Ben.
Night, Si.
People listen to this at any time during the day, so saying good night might really piss someone off in the morning.
Morning, Si. You get any coffee?
Oh, I mean, I'm going to need a lot tomorrow. Thank you so much to the absolutely beautiful, wonderful, excellent BEETLEJUDE. Where can people find you online?
Oh, I don't know. I've got a YouTube channel. You could, I don't know, to be honest. I'm around.
You're on YouTube. You're on Twitter.
You're on
Twitter.
Yeah. Thank you for having me anyway.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure and well overdue. Friends, thank you very much to today's tech specialist, who was Commander Ventura.
No problem.
Thank you, Norm.
Excellent, excellent. So until next time, commanders, fly safe. And if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Is your life like this? Sounds like someone having an orange inserted. You need a safe word. Space can be loaded. I'm gonna see the galaxy.
Ah, damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Galnet News Digest, 14th of March 3309. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, we look at the energy surge at the heart of the Thargoid maelstroms. But before that, we consider President Hudson's future, we get ourselves some caustic sink launchers, and we visit the Indra before it leaves Ceres Tarn to fight the Thargoid invasion.
President Hudson wants to break with centuries of federal tradition by standing to become the president for a second term. But he'll only be able to do it if Congress votes in his favour next week. Federal presidents have an 8-year term of office, with a vote of no confidence after the first 4 years. No president has ever
Galnet News Digest, 14th of March 3309. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, we look at the energy surge at the heart of the Thargoid maelstroms. But before that, we consider President Hudson's future, we get ourselves some caustic sink launchers, and we visit the Indra before it leaves Ceres Tarn to fight the Thargoid invasion.
President Hudson wants to break with centuries of federal tradition by standing to become the president for a second term. But he'll only be able to do it if Congress votes in his favour next week. Federal presidents have an 8-year term of office, with a vote of no confidence after the first 4 years. No president has ever served for more than 8 years, and there is concern that if Hudson is allowed to set aside the 700-year-old 77th Amendment, it might pave the way for future dictators. Hudson came to power following the sabotage of Starship One and the temporary loss of the then Liberal President Jasmina Halsey in May 3301. Hudson won a vote of no confidence against acting President Felicia Winters and was sworn into office on the 2nd of June 3301. His 8-year term is up in just 10 weeks, and the decision whether to let him stand is likely to have a far-reaching impact on the future of the galaxy, and not just because of his policies. None of the superpowers have seen a change of leadership since 3301. A year in which first Hudson came to power and then Emperor Orissa assumed power following the abrupt death of Emperor Hengist in October that year. If re-elected, Hudson will be president until 3317, and the other leaders seem likely to be equally long in office. In June 3307, Alliance Prime Minister Edmund Mahon was elected for a second 6-year term, the first Prime Minister ever to be re-elected. So, it'll be another 4 years before he's at risk again. Emperor Orissa is good to remain emperor indefinitely, as long as she can avoid a knife between the shoulder blades from impatient relatives. It's perhaps worth remembering that the Imperial Eagle was released in 3301 as a memorial to the recently deceased Emperor Hengist, a memorial to what is still the most recent change of power. It's been that long. If President Hudson loses the vote, or if he loses the presidency to either Shadow President Winters or to outsider Zachary Rackham, it will be the first time any of the power play leaders will have suffered such a setback. For that reason, the betting must firmly be in favour of Hudson winning next week's vote and remaining president, effectively forever.
The place to see and be seen these days is inside the Thargoid maelstroms. There are indeed wonders to behold, and there's the prospect that something even more spectacular may appear in the middle around about the end of April. But the price of entry is high. You really can't get by without at least one, preferably 3 or 4, caustic sink launchers. These little wonders suck up all the green goopy nastiness emitted by the caustic generators and let you spit it out when they're full. Once you've unlocked caustic launchers, you'll never need to worry again about burning off toxic corrosion, using silent running or using limpets. The caustic sink launcher is a modern miracle, a massive step forwards in the arms race against the Thargoids. To get one, you need 2 types of material, caustic shards and corrosive mechanisms, which you can only get by scooping them up inside the maelstroms, typically from the very caustic generators you're trying to protect yourself from. You also need 5 caustic tissue samples, which you get by using a xenoscanner and research limpets on the caustic generators. You need to wait an uncomfortably long time for the research limpet to do its thing to get even one of these samples, which is not a problem if you already have a caustic sink launcher to keep you safe. The answer to this conundrum is to find a fleet carrier that's selling caustic tissue samples. You can then take them to the nearest megaship and use them to unlock those sweet, sweet caustic launchers. Then you take a quick trip to visit Ram Tar and get the ammo clip size increased from 4 to 7. With 4 of these things fitted to your ship, you can easily spend an hour or more in the maelstrom, in relative safety as long as you dodge the caustic generators and the rather preoccupied Thargoid interceptors, which will probably only notice you if you bump into them. But what is at the heart of the maelstrom? Stay tuned.
The Imperial megaship Indra, launched in July 3303 by Zemina Torval, and which was originally a display of imperial might in the Pleiades, but which was long ago taken over by the Anti-Xeno Initiative, is to move back towards the bubble. The Indra, a Wells-class carrier, has been a familiar sight to visitors to the HIP 1185 system, nestled in the rings of planet A4, which has a surprisingly high gravity. The megaship has watched over the shipyard of Sirius Tarn far below. Back when Thargoids played by the rules, the Indra was an excellent stop-off point for those doing a little anti-Xeno combat. Now, however, the current owners of the Indra think it will be more useful back in the bubble, rather closer to its namesake, Maelstrom Indra. Assuming its hyperdrives spool up after nearly 6 years of inactivity, the Indra will be moving to HIP 28128, a system close to the Thargoid invasion, and containing one of the relatively few ammonia worlds that doesn't yet have a nearby maelstrom. AXI plans to make this their centre of operations as they fight alongside other members of the Defence Council of Humanity to repel the Thargoids. They admit the war is not going well for humanity, but there is some hope that the balance of power may subtly change on Thursday this week. In related news, the UGS and Universal Cartographics Initiative to discover and map ammonia worlds is nearing its conclusion. The initiative seems likely to result in 2 further weeks, during which all cartographic discoveries will attract 3 times their normal reward. Aegis has explained that it fears that more maelstroms may soon attack the human core systems, and that it needs to understand better the relationship between maelstroms and the ammonia worlds they invariably orbit. Perhaps Sirius Atmospheric's plan to terraform ammonia worlds wasn't quite as daft as it originally sounded.
So, what is there at the heart of the maelstrom? If you haven't already visited and you want to experience it for yourself, you may want to stop watching now. The outside part of the maelstrom is rather uninspiring, with a muddy brownish green fog full of caustic generators that squirt out green nastiness. There are also occasional Thargoids wandering around and checking on the consistency of the caustic fog. But as you get towards the centre, you begin to see a dull red crackling cloud. This core seems to charge up the closer you get, with dozens of lightning bolts fizzing over the surface. It gradually gets paler, with a whiteness showing behind the red clouds and strange shifting shadows. And then, very suddenly, an enormous energy pulse races out at incredible speed, and your ship's carried away far faster than any interceptors or Thargon swarm. The tidal wave of energy, fun though it is the next hurdle we need to surmount if we're going to get to the heart of the maelstrom and to finally uncover its secret. Will we need unclassified relics to build an energy tidal wave neutralizer? Or do we need to develop stealth technology so we can sneak past this rather impressive burglar alarm? It's probably something Ramtar, Ishmael Palin and Aegis will sort out. Although there's an outside chance that Azimuth Biotech will attempt something useful, or that the currently absent one-time test subject Xiaojin I will rock up with a means of mind-controlling the Thargoid defences. If you want to be ready for that new technological advance, whatever it is, you'd better find some time to sort out those caustic sink launchers, after all.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News. We read the news so you don't have to.